Warren Buffett is one of the richest men in the world and arguably the most successful investor of all time. And this past week, he released his updated portfolio showing that he dumped over 52 million shares of one stock. We're going to cover that today. My name is Gav Blacksberg, aka Wolf Financial. I'm here with Evan from Stock Market News. If you enjoy these type of videos, go ahead and like the video and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel that you're watching on, because we're going to keep coming out with content like this. Let's get right into it with a look at Warren Buffett's updated portfolio. Evan, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. If you enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe and getting right into it. So, important columns to be looking at here. That first column, the name of the stock that tells you what stock they're holding. And then column number 5 over there that shows you the number of shares that they are holding. And if there's like 5 of the same stock, which you can see with pretty much most of them on Warren Buffett's portfolio, you kind of add them all together. And that shows you the complete holdings. So if you want to scroll down that quickly, this is as of the end of December 31st, end of Q4. This is just their long positions. And it's not always a complete picture of what they're doing and what they hold, but this does give you a really good insight into everything that these companies are doing. Perfect. If you want to scroll over to the Savvy Trader picture, we do have it really kind of summed up in one place so you can see all of the stocks and what percentage that is in that portfolio. And you can really see right at the top, Buffett is very invested into Apple. It's 41.8% of their common stock portfolio, which is a little bit surprising, not something you would expect Buffett to have. But he has had this for a while, and this has kind of become known. They actually added to their Apple position last quarter. It was one of 3 stocks that they increased their holdings in last quarter. They now own about 5.8% ownership in the company. And if you own Apple and you get a dividend, I promise you Buffett gets a much, much larger dividend. Q4, based on the shares that they owned as of the end, they got a $210.6 million dividend check. I don't know what I would do with that type of dividend check, but Buffett seems to have that underway. And then the other major move that was hinted at the start of this video was their move in Taiwan Semiconductor. So Taiwan Semiconductor, you can see it's right at the bottom now, the 31st largest holding. And Wolf, if you could quickly switch over to that other photo that we have from their last holdings, and you can see right there at the bottom, it says Taiwan Semiconductor in the bottom left. There was their 10th largest holding as of the end of last quarter. So quite the drop there. They owned 60.6 million shares as of the end of Q3. And as of the end of Q4, they owned 8.3 million shares, meaning they dumped about 52.3 million shares during the quarter. And that's not really kind of what Buffett's style is at all. So we'll see. We don't even know fully if it was him. But the large stake was purchased at prices between around $69 to $92, and they sold down the stake in the company at prices between $60 to $83, and the stock is currently trading at $98. So not the best move for Buffett with Taiwan Semiconductor, considering how it's moved, but definitely have to look at that one in the future. Wolf, were there any moves that he made that stood out to you that I didn't mention?
Yeah, it's interesting how he continues to add to Apple and enlarge that position. Obviously, the company and the portfolio is doing pretty well, increased its value by $3 billion, as reported in that 13F from the last quarter. So thought that was pretty interesting. It's also unique to me that, Bank of America, CVX are up here. Those are positions that we continue to keep an eye on. We know that he's continued to increase his positions in oil and energy over the past year. So maybe less surprising to see CVX get up this high.
Wolf,
Yeah.
he actually sold some of his Chevron last quarter.
Look at that. So he was increasing some of those positions throughout the year. I think the big one that people continued to talk about was Oxy. But as you can see, that's down at number 7, far behind some of these other positions, which are, majorly weighting up that portfolio. So I'd say that's what stands out to me. I think it looks like Oxy's coming in. It was at 6. They've continued. I don't believe they sold any of that position. As far as I know, it's continued to, accumulate some pieces. So curious to see that where that ends up. But yeah, it looks like it's currently sitting at 7. All right. Do we want to hop over to some of these other 13Fs?
Yeah, just quickly before we do go over, he did lower his stake in Chevron a little bit during the quarter. He lowered his stake in Activision a little bit during the quarter, Kroger, Bank of New York Mellon, BK, and a few others in there. But there was also a lot more 13Fs filed, a lot more fund managers showing off what they are doing. And a couple things stood out to me. First, going over to Michael Burry's portfolio, he's become very, very popular online. And I saw a funny joke from Gavin talking about, I don't get why people don't like Burry. He's guessed 50 of the last 2 recessions, which is goes along with it. And that's funny. If you want to switch over to the tweet right next to the right, Burry's portfolio, and you can see what he owns. He owns a little bit of Alibaba. He owns a little bit of JD as well, MGM. He actually cut his holding in Geo Group in half, and some other stuff. He is an active trader, so this might not be fully accurate for right now, but this is what he held as of December 31st. If you want to quickly scroll over to that picture that I replied below it, yeah, this is what his holdings looked like last quarter. So you can pause the video, rewind, go in and compare that. But that is how Burry's portfolio has changed, adding Baba, JD, and some others. And I also thought it was really interesting. George Soros in his 13F, there was a lot in it. If you go to the right, Wolf, he actually owned some ARK K calls. You can see it Control F in there. He owned 500 ARK K calls as of December 31st. Now, obviously, you know how RK did at the start of the year, was up like 28, 30%. January was the best month ever for Cathie Wood. So George Soros definitely made a good trade there. And then, Wolf, I don't know if there's any other moves that you saw that were intriguing to you.
Yeah, George Soros put on that short position on SI that we saw. He'd taken out a bunch of put options, and so retail has been attempting to squeeze him out of that. So that's another one which I'm keeping my eye on, but not too much else for Soros. All right.
You want to scroll over to the next one and talk a little bit about what you thought of Steve Cohen's move?
Yeah, is this one Steve Cohen's?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hop into there. I haven't tracked Steve Cohen too closely. I know that.
All right, so what you want to look at there, Control F for GameStop. That was the big move that was kind of being highlighted in there for Steve Cohen, and 0.72 became a little bit of a popular trade there, but they disclosed owning some GameStop shares. So that got all the meme stocks going, AMC and all the other ones. They don't go by ticker. You have to type in game.
Got it. I might have the wrong 13F up. I think this looks like a.
No worries at all. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's just interesting. What I'll say, kind of circling back to some of these is, it's fascinating that we get to see a little bit of an insight into people who have produced really great investments over time, and we get to track them quarter to quarter. Like you mentioned, it's not necessarily updated to this week. However, typically, most of them are holding things for longer than a quarter. So it's a pretty helpful structure for us to look at. Anything else we wanted to touch on in this video?
Yeah, it that is very dependent on the person. Someone like a Michael Burry, he moves very quickly, and some of these more active traders, they do move very quickly. So, some of these people are long-term investors, some of them are traders, but it's very hard to know exactly what's happening here. But this gives you a decent little insight there. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe. If this is something you want to see more of, let us know in the comments below or DMs or anything like that, and we look forward to talking next time.
Perfect. Looking forward to talking with everybody on the next one.